we have this week's upcoming NFL games up for discussion. There's so many great games, but there can only be 3. First off, we'll start with Cleveland talking about Baltimore at Cincinnati.
Well, Baltimore came off a really good win yesterday. Anyways, Baltimore came off a really good win against the Denver Broncos. It's just, they really brought Kyle Orton back down to earth. He had that big head going in that undefeated. I always said that Denver was the luckiest undefeated team, and what happens when you run into an immovable object in the Baltimore defense, you just get wrecked. I mean, and really that defense came alive in that game, and it really made me impressed with the Baltimore. They had faltered off a couple weeks, like 3 weeks in a row where they really didn't look like that Ravens defense. And suddenly yesterday, last game, they just kind of really just came alive. And that's what I've been waiting to see from Baltimore in that division. And granted, a lot of things could have happened for them yesterday. They got lucky a little bit. But, with a guy like Ray Lewis, it's just, you can't help it. He's just a great linebacker. Cincinnati, on the other hand, coming off that huge win against Chicago, 45-10. That's amazing. They're wide receiver Andre Caldwell looking really good. Andre Caldwell spent two months over the summer living in Los Angeles with Carson Palmer. So they've been working out every day. So that's why Andre Caldwell's name keeps popping up in all the highlights, and not Chad Ochocinco. Ochocinco kind of talked a big game, saying he's going to move in with Carson Palmer. But that didn't work out for him. You see his numbers going down a little bit. They're up from last year, which really there's only one way to go but up from last year. But really, Andre Caldwell stepping out onto the scene really impressed me, and I love the fact that they're getting it together. Although Joe Flacco getting back into the mix, in that game against Denver, Ray Rice, amazing player, gonna be good for years to come, and I think this week is very huge for him to see can he have a good back-to-back game, because he hasn't put in consistency back-to-back this whole season. He's been good one game, a little off the next game. Let's see if he can put it together against Baltimore. Also, I want to see if Cedric Benson can run through Baltimore. He's the NFL leading rusher. Can he run through that defense? I want to see that. So I guess I got Baltimore winning this game. Consequently, I have them winning it just 27-17.
All right, those are very valid points, but all I got to say is Cincinnati had a week to prepare, and they've already beaten Baltimore, so because of that, I like Cincinnati 27-17.
I also got Cincinnati winning 30-27.
All right. Chris will tell you about the Arizona Cardinals at the Chicago Bears.
All right, we have the Bears at Arizona. We have the Bears hosting Arizona. Arizona's first in NFC West. The Bears are tied for second in NFC North. The Cardinals are coming off a unexpected loss to the Panthers, 34-21, with Kurt Warner throwing 2 TDs and 5 interceptions. They threw the ball 46 times and ran the ball. Really, they ran the ball 16 times. Kurt Warner also got him a rush for 8 yards, but that doesn't matter. The Bears, they're coming off an unexpected win over the Browns. Yes. Cutler was 17 of 30, no TDs, 1 interception. Forte had 26 carries for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Devin Hester, surprisingly, he's coming around, 7 catches for 81 yards. I would say the Bears defense is a little bit better than the Arizona Cardinals offense. Arizona can stop the run, but they are deadly terrible in the pass. They rush the ball, the worst in the NFL. The Bears are somewhat up there, ranked at 26 in the NFL, but they both have somewhat good passing games. But I think the cold weather will affect the Arizona Cardinals, and I give the Bears winning the game 24-17.
Nice. Cardinals have been pretty good on the road this year. They're going to bounce back from that tough loss. I think they'll be able to run the ball a bit better. So I like the Cardinals winning this one 24-21.
I think the Cardinals had to rebound from that loss against Carolina. That's a little embarrassing for a team like Arizona, who is first, like I said, like you had mentioned, first in the NFC West. They got to keep that up. But you know what? Chicago is that much better. It is at Soldier Field. I'm one of those superstitious people. If you're used to playing in hot weather, you can't go to the cold and perform well. Look at Peyton Manning. So, I mean, I'd have to go ahead and give it to the Bears, 31-24.
And breaking down the Dallas Cowboys visiting the Philadelphia Eagles, one and only Doug.
All right, this is a rematch. Well, I guess they play every year, but this is for first place in the NFC East. Both teams are 5-2. The game is in Philly, and if we all remember correctly, last year with a playoff berth at stake, the Cowboys got drove 44-6 in the Link, which is where the game is this year. Both teams' offenses seem to be really playing just top-notch right now. Donovan McNabb is playing terrific. As we saw in the last game, they torched the Giants with their big play capability, Deshaun Jackson, and they actually ran the ball for 180 yards. So that should be good enough to keep up with the Cowboys' three-headed monster at running the football. But I think the Cowboys' pass rush will somewhat slow down Donovan McNabb. But with Andy Reid's ability to call screens and short passes just at the right time, and he's also great at blitz calling as well, I think I like the Eagles in this one, although it's hard for me to say. But I think they'll win this one in a shootout, 34-31, and take over first place.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. I mean, you had mentioned what happened there last year. I mean, 44-6, numbers don't lie. I mean, and the Cowboys each year, every time they got like a little taste of success, they've lost it, and that's something they do. But they always seem to do it in Philadelphia. Never do they do it anywhere else. They never do it at Giants Stadium. They never do it somewhere, somewhere else. But they always seem to play their worst games in Philadelphia, and that's very characteristic of the Cowboys. I got the Eagles winning this game again, but like you said, it's going to be a high-scoring affair, 42-35.
I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I got Philly winning also, but I got it 38-35.
All right. Great from the panel. Very great. That was NFL talk. After the break, we'll be into the NBA review here on The Range. Stay tuned.